the issue kind of at hand right now seems to be that they've applied for federal relicensing, and they've asked for a 46-year lease, basically. And when I say they, I mean Exelon, the public utility company that operates the dam privately. In order to get that license from the federal agencies, they have to receive a Maryland Department of Environment water quality certification. And if they do that, then it kind of paves the way to a degree to get that federal relicensing. Why it's important right now is because Maryland Department of Environment has solicited public comments until January 15th, 2018 to basically have input from the public on how Exelon has operated and is slated to operate. There's been a lot of concern from environmental groups about the amount of sediment and nutrients that the dam traps and then subsequently releases when they open the floodgates to generate power, and the impact that has on the species of the bay. I think the crux of it is that they want to continue to operate in this way that doesn't allow for a lot of public input or accountability, and do so for the better part of a half century. And then from commercial aquaculture standpoint, this is what kind of triggered my interest in this whole thing, is that we noticed this past spring unusually depressed levels of salinity in the upper bay. We had a nursery. We were starting to operate back in the springtime of 2017, and we kept salinity observations and records a year prior, if not 2 years prior. And it was definitely seemingly unusual that all of a sudden we were seeing these really low salinity levels, and we couldn't figure it out. It was actually lower salinity in the bay than in the Chester River, and usually that's the other way around. It kind of threw us for a loop. And so we started looking at the openings of the dam and figuring out, okay, when are we noticing these periods of really low salinity levels in the upper bay? And when are they opening the dam? And sure enough, we found a direct correlation between large openings, 2 to 3 times the historic 50-year median flow rates for extended periods, not just a day or two. We're talking about 14+ days in some cases in May, and that's pretty much exactly when we were seeing these depressed levels of salinity. So it has has an impact on us commercially, because it actually delayed us operating our nursery in the bay for about 3 months. So that set us behind production for about 3 months. We couldn't even run the thing because the water was so fresh it would actually be deadly to small oyster seed. And it seems now they're opening and closing primarily based on commodity pricing of electric. So when the price is high, they hold the water, and then they make a few calls, figure out when the price is spiking, usage is up, they open the dams, they generate power, they sell it. And that makes sense from a business perspective, but it doesn't necessarily take into account the public externalities, environmental impacts that operating in that manner creates. So they have a hotline you can call, 1-800 number, a toll-free number, where you can call and they'll tell you the cubic feet of water that's going past the dam at any given moment, but it's not predictive. They don't tell you what they're going to do 2, 3, 5 a week out, because I don't know if they know. I think it's probably based upon demand. As a company that large, that stands to make several $1 million over the next 50 years off this dam, just from this dam. You would think that you'd want to take a close look at what's happening as a result of the way it's operating.